In this last video, in this initial series for Gravity Forms, I'm going to show you about the CSS classes that are in Gravity Forms. So as we've talked about briefly before, HTML is kind of the basic front-end structure of a website. It's the coding language that people have used for a long time to create basic structures of websites and text and things like that. And then CSS came out, and what CSS is, it allows us to create a class or a styling group set, and then apply those classes to different things to our HTML. Now, none of that's going to matter to you right now. We will talk a little bit about it when we get into the front end stuff, because you'll be using CSS classes. But basically what this means is you can put one word into one field, and that will determine how that field looks on the front end. And with Gravity Forms, they've given us what they call CSS ready fields, and they've given us preset classes that will help us get a little bit of structure over our forms. Now we're going to design our forms and make them look great later on, but this is more for having forms sitting next to each other and doing things like inline forms and stuff like that. So I'm just going to create a new form, and we'll call it styled form. So let's say that the end goal here is for me to have 3 single line text fields, but I want them to be right next to each other. And then underneath that, I'm going to have, let's say, a radio field, but I'm going to have a lot of options, like 12 options, and I want those options to be displayed in 3 columns. All right, and I'm going to use a couple CSS classes here, but I'm going to put a link to the website on Gravity Forms documentation where they list out all the different classes available, and they also show examples. So I'm not going to go through all of them right now, but I'm going to show you how they work, and then you can, when you're building your form, you can reference that page to see if there's any fields there that you're going to need. So this is the page on the Gravity Forms website, and this is what I'll send you, and you can see that they show you where to put in the class name and the different class names available, which are here, and then they tell you how they work, and they'll show you how it ends up being displayed. So this is what we're going to use for our form here. So I'm going to put in 3 single line text. So let's just say that for whatever reason I wanted to create, back from our camper form, we had the number of list the number of children that are coming, and we had a first name field, and let's say we have a last name field, and we have a numeric field for age, right? So we can do all these Gravity Forms, but I'm just using these as an example. So we want these. If I click update now and I look at my form, you're going to see they have one after the other, but let's say I want them all to be on one line. So there's 2 things that we can do. If we go to the appearance tab, and first we can see that we can change the field size, so we can make the field smaller, medium, or large depending on our needs. I'm going to keep it as medium. And then we'll put in this class, which is called gf_left_third. And that means I want 3 columns, and this is the field that should show up on the left. And then I'm going to do for the last name, I'm going to do the middle third. And for the age field, I'm going to do the gf right field. And now I'll click update. And again, you can get all these classes and see the examples of what you can do on the page that I link under this tutorial. So let's click preview again, and we're going to refresh our page. And now we can see that we have first name, last name, and age, and they're all in line, right? So now let's add in our radio buttons, and we're going to say, how great are these tutorials that we're doing? And we're going to add in 12 options. So on a scale of 1 to 12, how great are these tutorials? Obviously 12. And then we're going to go into appearance, and we're going to put in our inline 3 column class, which is here. And then we'll update our form, and we'll refresh again. And now you can see that how great are these tutorials? And it has 1, 2, 3, and they're all, the answers are in line. So obviously we're going to click that, right? And that's just kind of, we can do these. There's lots more options. So we can do it in 5 columns if we want to. And there's a lot of different things. We can do different spacing and things like that. So now we have 5 columns, and it'll kind of automatically break them up. So that's kind of how that works. It's a very simple thing, but it does give you a little bit more power over how things look. But again, when we get into our front page builders, I will help you make your forms look great, but that's more about the styling and things like that. But this is more just general structure. We can use those CSS classes to control the general structure and layout of our form before we really get into styling them and making them look great. So that is Gravity Forms, and that is Ready Classes.